It's been a while since I've done one of these, and thought I might go ahead and kind of show everybody where I'm at on this new playthrough test that I've been doing. One of the reasons I like posting these particular videos is it really helps me to document and to show the debugging process. And sometimes not debunking, because that wouldn't really be the right term, but being able to apply the right term to the correct situation, such as there was um, there was situations where they talk about the triangle of death between Sanctuary, Abernathy Farm, and Red Rocket, because you can be within that 5x5 UGrid loading limit, or even the LOD loading limit, and still see, you can be in one settlement and then see objects in the other. Um, I have not had any crashes whatsoever running between those three settlements. I use transfer settlements. I think Sanctuary has well over 3,000 objects. There's 3,000 placed items. Red Rocket is not nearly that much, but I think it's got between like 3 and 5. Abernathy has probably around maybe to 100 to 300, because that one's not even really built up yet. Once I build those up, I will continue to see if that's going to cause a problem, especially if they're up in the thousands. Now, normally you can only put so many objects in a settlement without kind of doing the trick where you drop something like a gun and then scrap it on the ground, which lets you increase space. Transfer settlements automatically sets it to 10%. Once you've imported a settlement, it automatically sets it to 10% of the maximum. Um, so you actually see you have, even though you load 3,000 objects and your settlement is packed, you still have a lot of building space. I did encounter when I was building settlements that one of them I actually had to increase. Well, I think two that I had to increase, and I believe Sanctuary was one of them. I'm not sure what the other one is, because I've added a lot of stuff. But to kind of get started, I'm going to upload the load order, which is this over here, and I'm going to upload the plugin list I'm using, and I've uploaded this load order history, so you can kind of see what the errors are. But to start out with, let's take a look at how long I've actually played this particular game. All right, so let's take a look at the summary here. This is the one I'm currently doing, which is this one, and I've played it a little over 4 days. So you're talking 24 hours, so each day counts as an accumulated 24-hour play period. These periods can be, I mean, technically you could play as little as a couple seconds and you exit out, or you play as long as hours. I think some of the longest hours I've had on this are like 4. I think I'm getting up back to 4. The stability's getting up like to about 4 hours a pop. It didn't crash after 4 hours. There's another 4. Let's see, there's a 3. That one crashed, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. There's coming up on a 5-hour time spread. So this is so the stability has I finally got the stability back. Most of the mods I have kept, so my load order kind of stays the same. I do add some additional mods. I do add some new mods that might come out. Um, I do take some mods out, and I do replace mods. Some of the primary mods I replaced was I took out FGEP, and I put in FGEP the Definitive Edition. And that had me remove a lot of FGEP patches. So FGEP is somewhere down in here somewhere. Let's see, there's Scourge. Where is good old FGEP? He's in here somewhere. Well, wherever he is, I actually had to remove a lot of the patches came out. So, yeah, it's in here somewhere. Let's see. Okay, here it is. So let's Z this back so we can see it. So a lot of these, right? Oh, I'm right underneath Scourge. You can see where I took out a lot of the FCAP. Scourge I have not put in yet. I was tempted to use it. I took out better locational damage. I think it was the biggest problem I had when you look back over the previous load order was I had a lot of loose file streams. I think I had some Papyrus desyncs, and I had a lot of crashes when it came to combat. That turned out to be damage threshold framework because I think it was conflicting with MAME or something else. It might have used a special spell or something attached to the player that would trigger events or something. So there was definitely a conflict there. By taking that one out, I do not have that problem now. So combat crashes are gone. I have not had a loose file stream in 4 days. And this is heavily modded. I mean, this thing is very heavily modded. And it's got, oh my gosh, I'm not even sure I can see it this way. Yeah, I can't. But it's got, we can do it like this. It's got 200, it's got 436 plugins in here. Some of these may be, I believe these are active. And out of those, 235 of those are actually non-light plugins. Now, some of these I can convert to light. I have not done that yet. So I can still gain some plugin space by converting those. I can flag those ESPs as light, and then therefore that will gain me some ESP ESM plugin space. But let me go over these errors real quick. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna attach the load order, the DLL list here, and then I'm gonna attach this so you can see it. But okay, so to start out with, let me do this first. So if you go back and you take a look, all of these mods existed prior to the current game. One of the things I wanted to watch out for is I did not want to remove mods and install mods mid playthrough, and therefore plugins won't be rearranged. And I think the problem might come into play for items that are injected. They're actually injected. It's script injected, because I believe moving those would be disastrous. Leveled lists might not be as bad, but injected, from what I understand, would be a bad thing to do. So back in my prior playthroughs, I didn't really pay any attention to what was injected and what wasn't. I just kind of removed stuff. So it is possible that some of those errors were due to just my ignorance of general modding knowledge, or not necessarily, it's not used in a negative term, and it's definitely not derogatory. But I just kind of thought, I don't want this in here, and I don't care because I can start my game over with. I'm not going to throw a fit if I have to start it over, because I'm going to do it anyways. In fact, I've already got mods lined up that I want to add for the next playthrough just to check out. And the idea behind my load order is I'm going to put as much stuff in here as I think I could ever use, and then I'm going to build patches around what I do want to use. So, for example, I have True Storms in here, and I have Nax. The one thing I don't have at this moment is like gas masks of the Wasteland. So once I get that working, where it works with the UI, the interface, works properly with that, then this way I can actually go in and say, all right, I want to play a game where everything's irradiated. Radiation is killer. So I have the mods in there to give me the weather. I have the mods in there to modify the radiation damage, and then I have something in there to wear gas masks if I so choose. So all of the elements are in there. It just depends on which ones I want to use and which ones I don't. One thing I might add back in is better locational damage. I have direct hit in there, but I can still take once I have certain types of armor on, I'm almost invulnerable. So I want to take that out and make the gameplay a little more challenging, because I know with better locational damage, the start of the game was a nightmare. All right, but anyways, so these are things. So I have updated mods mid playthrough. I have added mods. However, I believe most of the mods I've added were things like textures. I didn't add ESPs or plugins, and that's what we're going to look at here. So I know I updated SUP. That's there. This Palms and Souls, I believe those are textures. And you can see where the mod author kept making revisions, so I kept updating accordingly. Main menu was simply a menu. I added that. That's textures. Papyrus is a DLL. These are textures. This is probably where I was trying something out, and I had to make sure they were reinstalled properly. It's where I do a lot of debug testing of the code. I may have to install something, or I might install a file and then go back and undo it. Natural resistances, I don't know about that one. See, that's an any, so I'm assuming that uses Robco Patcher. So that would be fine. Again, the marshland, I have not gone in there. I don't even think I have the marshland activated. Yeah, see, it's not activated, so updating that is not even going to matter. However, I did update the wilderness, the farmlands, and the forest. I did update this. So, see, these were updated. And that was an inline update. That's a dynamic update. These are textures. I believe this was, I think this was a, yeah, it has an ESP, but this was already in there, so that was an update. This is just animated. These are Swift files, and I believe this is just combat music. That's all this is. It's just various combat music. So I didn't really add any ESPs so I didn't change the load order by adding new ESPs or new plugins, whether ESPs, ESLs, or ESMs. So no new plugins were added. So what I do is, if I want to add them, I will put them over here, and they will be they won't be activated. And then later on, if I choose to activate them, like some of these I have to take out, like these marshlands and wilderness, these are for previous versions, so I need to remove these. Like settlement delivery bot, cop bot, those are cool, but it would have been better if he would have had the cop bot in one of the police stations, and you'd have to discover the police station, you discover the cop bot, and then you could assign, let's say there's like 5 or 6 police stations. It would have been nice if like 2 or 3 of them you would have these bots in it, and you could assign them to different settlements. They would become a settler. And then you have the delivery bot. Would have been nice if you would have found that out in the wasteland somewhere, out in the Commonwealth. And then, like maybe at a post office, Nahant post office or something, where you could repair him, and then you could get the parts to repair him, and then once you repair him, then he would do his delivery stuff, rather than just pack all these robots all over like all over around Sanctuary and Vault 101. So take those out. Multiple marker beds, things like that, they caused a problem. So what you see as far as inactivated plugins, these are some I'm going to remove, but these are some that I'm probably going to add. Like fast travel AI detection fix, I've got that set to add in. Things like that. Okay, so I wanted to make sure that I start ruling out variables. So no new plugins were added. I updated my Boston Natural surroundings to the official 3.0 version. Now it's no longer that beta version. Okay, I moved my LOD beneath my PRP. That's one thing I definitely wanted to try out. And I noticed pop-ins weren't nearly as bad. So, not pop-ins, but when LOD loads, it seems to be less noticeable. I have no loose file streams whatsoever. Like, there's none here. So let me get back to a better list here without all that stuff. There is no loose file streams. I do not have that problem with this, and this is a big loadout. This is a lot of stuff. So I do not have the loose file stream at all. What I do have, I believe, was avoidable. I believe it was 100% avoidable. Okay, I'll take you through them. So I had 3 audio crashes, and I'd had these before. So I had this one, and then I had this one. And the problem was over here, when you go into settings and you go into audio, the ambience here and the reverb were maxed out. And I had read somewhere where that can cause game crashes because I think it changes the sampling rate. It takes because I think on the low level API calls are fast, but they don't have a lot of error checking in it. So it does a bad mathematical calculation, or it tries to put a data in the chip cannot handle, and the chip simply crashes. It returns a I got a problem code, or this is not going to work code, error code. It's like a hardware thing. You read the register and then you have to act accordingly. So that would have knocked 3 errors out of here completely. I think they have like first time I was trying. This is where I tried to rearrange because I thought if I rearranged the audio plugins, maybe that would help. That did not fix the problem. But what I had, what was this one, and it was this one. So what I did wind up doing, which as you can see, there are no more audio crashes at all. These are not audio crashes. So when I toned that way down, I believe that's what made a difference. The first time I approached Ten Pines Bluff, I was running along the railroad tracks. Ten Pines is up on a hill. I cannot see it yet, but there's a little sign that points up like a little pathway that goes up and around. I have the Blue Caves there. I think it's like Caves of the Commonwealth. I think it's Mole Rat Tunnels, I think is what it is. It's like the tunnels. That crashed. And the best I can figure, so this one I would consider a potentially legitimate crash. The only that I had not discovered that settlement yet. So it was undiscovered. So if it must have been loading LOD or something in the process, I'm not sure. So this one would be the one legitimate crash I believe I would have. Down here, I was in Far Harbor. They had wiped out those fog crawlers or the gulpers or whatever had wiped out the dudes at the beginning of the. They're in Far Harbor at the gate before they opened the gate, and I just resurrected them. It was dark; I couldn't see. I don't know if there was some kind of dismemberment issue or something. Because I've seen settlers run around without heads before, so I'd have to disable, re-enable, or basically resurrecting doesn't work. I had to recycle the actor. So this happened right after I did that, and it was something along. It had something along the lines of, let's see. It had some kind of not pathing, but behavior or something. It's down in here. Yeah. See, it gave this. See, I don't know what this is. It may have been this right here, because this comes up a lot. Not really sure. This could be in just Far Harbor. What we could do is there's a way we can do some research on this. Let's see. I just didn't want this thing to get too big here. Let me see, because I forget where it's actually at. There's instances somewhere, although I'm not sure where I put it, because I kind of just cram these menu options all over the place. I have no idea how to search for them. Yeah, I'm not sure where it would be. Maybe it's in, I don't think it's in search. Show instances. It might be this. Alright, so what we're looking for is, let me see if I can copy this. Let's do a C. Let's see if this works. No, that does not work. Okay. Alright, so let's try 32, 55, 130. C. Let's try, well, that might not work. Let's try DLC 03 Far Harbor. 32. See, terrain, that's got to be, let's see. So we have terrain, DLC, 03 Far Harbor. Right. See, terrain doesn't. Okay, I have no idea what that is. It looks like it's repeated twice, which is odd. Now this may or may not work. It's a little bit off what I was trying to do, but I thought, well, why not? Let's see. All right, well, let's let that grind away. All right, so it didn't find anything. So that was too quick of a search. It needs to do a complete search. All right, so I'll have to take a look at that. That's probably something I'm going to have to kind of modify in the code. Maybe it's a condition or something. All right, so we're going to leave that out. So for right now, what I'm curious to know is, was this added by another mod? That would be the mod I need to take a look at. And instances will show that. I just have to get it to actually look at the right one. All right, so, okay, so now that being said, back to the errors. Here I activated, I had noticed that I am using Better Landscaping Grass. See, I'm using Better Landscaping. Now, what's interesting is Velt here comes from Better Landscaping. So I'm supposed to have Better Landscaping mod. It doesn't even have this. It doesn't even have this as a master. See, it just has True Grass. So it doesn't even have it as a master. So I actually wasn't paying any attention, and I'm running the game with Velt, not from the Velt mod. The Velt assets, the resource files are from the Velt mod, but the plugin is from Better Landscaping Grass. See, it's Better Landscaping Grass Velt. And it was supposed to come after both True Grass and Better Landscaping Grass, but it doesn't have this as a master, so I didn't even realize it was missing. So I thought, oh man, that's missing, and I need to add it. So I went to directly activate it, fire it back up, and that instantly, like you can see 21 minutes into the game, or not quite, no, 36 seconds into the game, it crashed. So because the crash comes after, this crash is shown after that. So 36 seconds it crashed. So I had to remove that. Once I remove that, everything's fine. Now there's one error, there's one crash you don't see, which is the same as this. And this is this has to do with transfer settlements and how it shows the current its progress, its current progress, its current state on the HUD. And it's always the same thing. I'm pretty sure it's going to be like a DLL is going to pop up in here somewhere. Oftentimes it'll be like a DLL or something. But basically, like shader here. So see how you got shader, camera, 9-node. Okay, so what the way that it normally is supposed to work is the way that I think Fallout 4 does its kind of like HUD thing is you need a pointer. And not the mouse pointer, but you need that little dot in the center of the screen in order to see certain HUD elements. And they wrap it around whether that dot is being shown. And you can do that by, sometimes they make it the dot invisible, and like you can do that by drawing your weapon and like looking down like an iron sight or looking down a scope. You'll actually see transfer settlements will pop up and show you where it's currently at. Now it's supposed to, when that dot goes away, it's supposed to hide that progress, that little progress thing. And I think it's using HUD framework to show it, but it was supposed to hide that. So what I would do is I would, and it actually is conflicting with Immersive Animation Framework, because normally it would pull out this little weird round thing, looks like a little, I don't know, leaf blower, man. You'd start it up, and all of a sudden, you know, that's when it would do its thing. But now it looks like you're trying to inject yourself with something, and then moving forward from first person and third person using the scroll wheel, you do some weird dip, like you're reaching down and grabbing a handful of grass and coming back up. So you can reset the animation by sitting down. You need so I think it's kind of like losing track of whatever animation it's supposed to do, or it pointed to the wrong animation. So by sitting down in like a chair and getting back up, it resets it properly. However, it doesn't look like you're pulling the leaf blower. So you're sitting down, and if you hit tab, even though your mouse cursor is not showing, not your mouse cursor, but the little HUD cursor is not showing, like the little targeting hairs, it would still pop up and show the status. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of weird. So there's something kind of interfering with that mod in some way, shape, or form. When that happens, and I go into my Pip-Boy, I got 2 crashes, and it looks like it's a shader crash. So I believe that somehow going into the Pip-Boy is at the right moment, or somehow there that's interfering, because you can actually see it's an object. It's a NIF, because it's got an LOD root. I'm not sure what the LOD would be, but this definitely caused a crash. So if this is LOD, then maybe perhaps transfer settlements, I think, is up above. I believe it's up above LOD. Let's see. It's actually below LOD. So I wonder, like, I wonder if somehow this is triggering this, where you've got some kind of reciprocal thing happening, where a mod lower down the list fires, it triggers a change, which then turn around and makes an event which fires something else up here, and maybe there's a reciprocating call going on. But it's not a complete circular call, so it's not gonna give you like a 409 or a like a stack full or stack overrun. So, and these are, I'm pretty sure the other one is the same thing. I'm not going to be able to bring it up from here because I don't have a reference on the thing. And those are the only crashes that I've had. So, ruling out the 3 audio, that's 3 down. I'm going to say that the approaching 10 pines is one that I don't really know what caused that, so I'm going to leave that as a legitimate. Everything else, I believe, was caused by me directly going in and trying to actively change game data, or where a mod hit a condition that it wasn't prepared for. So when I do transfer settlements, I don't necessarily bring my Pip-Boy up. It's supposed to be faster, but I'm using false souls anyways, so everything is running even with the Pip-Boy up. It's really fast if you just hit escape. I can bring up the main menu, which is supposed to pause everything, but I still hear this thing running in the background. So I think the DLL is running in a loop, even though the game is paused, literally paused. The scripting is paused, but the DLL is running in a loop. And then once I unpause it, it sends all of these queued up events back to the, it's queuing those events up, and then the little icon which shows you the progress, you'll see it like go super fast to catch up. So it's getting hit with all these events, and then it's just catching up. So it's not really doing the events. Instead, I've already done this, I've already processed this. So here's the event saying I've already done it, and what you'll see is it'll go like 1%, 2%, and it'll go like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 5, 6. So it queues those up. So that means that implies the DLLs are running in the background even though scripting has stopped. So, and that's pretty much it. So those are the only errors I've had during that playthrough. I mean, during this playthrough so far, and it's still going strong. It's solid. So it's solid. I mean, I can pretty well with confidence. I have come back here countless number of times. I've got a concussion right now. I probably have a head injury, or I still am suffering from a head injury. I healed it up, but you get a concussion, and this is the effect you get with a concussion, which I kind of like it, because it makes combat a little more difficult. But you can't really see it. There's a little bit of lag here. There's a lot of objects, and there's even going to be more. So between here and Red Rocket, I've never got a crash. This is in 4 days of playing, and like I say, I think all but one error, one crash was probably caused by me altering game data. I have added mods, but it's mods that I think are fairly safe to add, like textures. Oh, and coming across this bridge doesn't crash anymore. And it still, as you can see, it still removes that truck back in there. See, it wasn't removed before, but it still removes it. So that apparently, so the only thing I can figure was BNS trees is a major thing that would affect LOD, and also I put the LOD beneath it. See how it fades back in? So now it should be there. So now that data should be loaded. I don't know if those objects are not flagged as LOD. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Maybe they're not flagged. Maybe that cell has some kind of weird flagging going on. I don't know why it would, or why that particular. But see, now it doesn't have a problem. It can actually keep that cell.
Hey, sometimes.
But I've never had. I still have that weirdness up in there.
As if there's another person.
There's a mod that modifies that location, so it must have affected LOD badly. I'd say that's what that is. Or it's a previs precombine or something. So here, like I say, I've run back and forth here consistently. This, like I say, Sanctuary is built up. Red Rocket is fairly built up. and I have not had a crash running between these two locations, loading into these locations. I will occasionally, very rarely, have an ILS, or what looks to me to be like an ILS. Not really sure what that is, but that is extremely rare. So I'll always kind of teleport. I'll actually try to fast travel here and then just run up. I've never had any going over in there, like going from Red Rocket to Abernathy. And over here in Concord, I've got like these dudes actually resettle. We'll save it here, so that way when I exit out, plus I'm here in a little bit, I'm gonna actually upload some more settlements that I have. But you can see how things load in. You can see them loading over there in Concord. It's not as bad as what it was. It seems to be more smooth. So, and I changed the distance at which high-res stuff loaded, and that may have caused a problem as well. So that's another change that could apply. I went back to more default settings. Let's see. So, and I added a mod. You'll now watch. You're gonna watch pre-combines are gonna break here. They should break right around in here. There. See how they're breaking? See, that is a conflict between, I think, sewers or this mod here, which adds people in Concord or something. But combat is good. I've never had any freezes in combat, never had any crashes, but I do have this previs problem. You can actually see this previs problem I'm having.
I think we're done.
And that is definitely a previs problem. See, because those are two different trash piles. So here the building actually disappears. See, that's previs. So that's previs pre-combined. So something is causing a conflict. I'll deal with that later. But I just wanted to show, and I do have it in this cell. And this is the only cell I've really noticed this in. So this is what I've got so far. Other than those little quirks, it's fairly stable. I do know the cross crit gore. Occasionally we'll have the meshes will be invisible. I'm not sure if that's a CBBE thing, or it's mostly with ghoul, so it's probably something not gelling with one of the ghoul mods, and I've caught a lot of ghoul mods in here. I don't have Fall Evil or anything like that. That put Lickers down in the sewer at the beginning of the game, and I could not take that sucker out with not at a level 1 or 2 or 3 with a 10mm. But with headshots now, I might be able to. So that was before headshots, and that was a nightmare. So, but this is what I've got so far. I just wanted to kind of log in and kind of vid up here a little bit so you can kind of see what's going on. You can look at the errors and see that other than things that I believe I've corrected, the stability should be finally getting back up towards 100% after 4 days gameplay. So, and this, like I say, was a lot of mods going on here. So yeah, looking pretty good. All right, well, I'm going to cut this short because it's probably already about 40 minutes of complete yawn-inducing conversation. So, yeah, so I'll go ahead and post this up, and then here in a little bit I will make some videos of a couple settlements I'm working on, so you kind of see that, maybe give me some feedback. And yeah, good luck, guys, and have fun. And like I say, if you keep having problems, just post it up, and eventually we will figure out the combination of things that cause the problem. At least not without a, I definitely don't have an assembly. I don't have anything to actually trace, to trace the executable. I don't have anything like that here, so there's no way I can actually look at the code while it's running. But anyways, just wanted to share that with you guys, and good luck, and definitely have fun gaming.